Or let me tell you something about that leap. It doesn't exist. There's no magical moment coming where you'll suddenly feel ready. No cosmic sign. No divine intervention where God himself taps you on the shoulder and goes, "Yeah, buddy, today's the day." You know what you're actually waiting for? You're waiting for a version of reality where doing the thing doesn't hurt, where it doesn't cost you anything, where you get to keep your comfortable little life and get the new one. That's not a leap. That's a fantasy. I've spent 20 years watching people destroy their lives with this waiting game. Not addicts, not criminals. Regular people who just kept hitting snooze on their own existence. They'd sit in my office, successful on paper, dying on the inside, telling me the same pathetic story. I was going to start the business, but the timing wasn't right. I was going to leave, but I needed more money saved. I was going to have the conversation, but they seemed stressed. Excuses dressed up as wisdom. Cowardice wearing a suit and tie. And you know what's insane? They can't even remember why they waited. 10 years later, the massive reason that stopped them sounds like nothing. I think I was worried what my mom would say. I didn't have an extra $5,000 saved. But the regret? That thing is a permanent resident now. It's built a house in their chest, and it's not paying rent. It's charging them to live there. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Fear is lazy. It doesn't need new material. It's been running the same tired script since you were 7 years old. What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not good enough? Zero creativity, zero originality, and you're falling for it every single time. Your brain is treating starting a business like it's fighting a grizzly bear. Same alarm system, same panic response. Except you're not going to get mauled. You're going to be uncomfortable for a while. Big difference. But your prehistoric brain can't tell the difference between actual danger and the risk of looking stupid on LinkedIn. So it screams threat, and you listen like a good little human and stay exactly where you are. Comfortable, safe, slowly dying inside. The people you admire, they weren't braver than you. This is the lie that's keeping you stuck. You think that woman who quit her job and started the thing, you think she felt ready? You think she had it figured out? She was terrified, absolutely shaking in her boots, terrified. The guy who moved across the country alone, crying in his car at gas stations. The artist you follow still wants to throw up before hitting publish. They just decided that living with fear was better than living with regret. They chose temporary discomfort over permanent what if. And here's what happened. They figured it out after they jumped. Not before, after. Because readiness is a myth. It's propaganda. Your comfort zone invented to keep you prisoner. You want to know the real pattern I see? The people who wait for the right time never find it. The time gets later, not righter. Then they're 45, sitting across from me, crying because 15 years ago they had this dream and they put it on pause. Just temporarily. Just until things settled down. Things never settled down. Things got more complicated. Marriage, kids, mortgage, aging parents, medical bills. The list of reasons not to jump just kept growing. And now they're trapped in a life that looks great on Facebook, but feels like a slow-motion funeral. They're successful. They're stable. They're absolutely miserable. Because they're mourning someone. They're mourning the person they could have been if they'd been brave for 5 seconds 15 years ago. Stop waiting for permission. Nobody's giving it to you, not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not the universe. You could wait your entire life for external validation, and you know what you'd get? A tombstone that says they were very reasonable. Cool legacy. Your parents aren't going to support you leaving the stable job. They're terrified of instability because they spent their whole lives chasing security. They're projecting their fears onto you and calling it advice. Your friends aren't going to cheer you on for leaving the city. You leaving means they have to confront why they're still stuck. You changing makes them uncomfortable about not changing. So they'll list 17 reasons why you should stay. Your brain isn't going to say, yes, this feels safe. That's literally not its job. Its job is to scan for threats and sound alarms. It's been doing this since you were in a cave, worried about being eaten. You're not waiting for the right time. You're waiting for it to not be scary. And that's never happening. You think you're being smart, strategic, careful. You're not. You're being a coward with a good vocabulary. I need more experience. I'm scared. I need more money saved. I'm scared. I need to wait until the kids are older. I'm scared. I need a sign. I'm scared, and I'm outsourcing my decisions to the universe because I don't want to be responsible for my own life. Just say it. I'm scared, and I'm choosing to stay stuck because being stuck is familiar. At least that's honest. Here's what actually happens when you jump. First week, absolute terror. You're convinced you made a massive mistake. You want to undo it. You can't sleep. You're checking your bank account every 4 hours. First month, still scared, but you're doing things. Small things. You're figuring it out. You're learning that you don't spontaneously combust from discomfort. 3 months, you've adjusted. It's not comfortable, but it's your new normal. You can't imagine going back. 6 months, you realize the thing you were terrified of is now just your life. You're swimming. You're not drowning. 1 year, you look back and barely recognize the person who was too scared to start. This is the pattern. Every single time. For everyone. Terrifying, then hard, then normal. Then you can't imagine your life before it. But you have to actually jump. Not think about jumping. Not plan to jump. Not research jumping techniques for 3 years. Jump. And I don't mean burn your life down with no plan. I mean, take the first scary step today. Send the email you've been drafting in your head for 6 months. Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Book the call. Register for the class. Buy the ticket. Submit the application. Post the thing. Do one thing that terrifies you. Because momentum is real. One brave action creates space for the next brave action. And suddenly you've built a completely different life. Not because you had some massive epiphany, but because you got tired of your own excuses. The clock is ticking, and it doesn't care about your feelings. 20 years will pass whether you jump or not. The only question is whether you'll pass them building something that matters or making excuses for why you didn't. You're going to be older either way. You might as well be older with a story instead of older with regrets. So here's your reality check. That thing you're putting off, it's not going to get easier later. It's going to get harder, more complicated, more people depending on you, more obligations, more reasons to stay safe. This moment, right now, is the easiest it will ever be. Not easy, easiest. And if you don't do it now, you'll be sitting in someone's office in 10 years, crying about how you wish you'd been braver. Don't be that person. Take the leap. Scared, unprepared, imperfect. Your future self is watching. Make them proud. Share this with someone who's been talking about their dream for 5 years and hasn't done anything about it. Tag them. Make them uncomfortable. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is hold up a mirror. May you find the courage to stop performing comfort and start living dangerously. May your fear of regret finally exceed your fear of failure. May you look back on this as the moment you stopped negotiating with your own potential and started claiming it. And may you realize that the leap was never as terrifying as the slow death of staying exactly where you are. Now go. The world doesn't need another person who played it safe. It needs you, scared and doing it anyway.